Hello everybody, my name's Ryan and I'm a driving instructor, and today, automatic driving tests. So automatic driving tests, I'm puzzled. What's all that about? Well, before I go any further, like, comment, subscribe. Subscribing is free, just do it. Go on, you might as well. All these people are unsubscribed. So, what's it all about? Well, it's about a report that came out on the BBC and everywhere else a couple of days ago, down here, saying that more driving tests that were being passed were automatic. Now, I'm being really specific here, that the number of automatic tests being passed has gone up. Not the percentage pass rate, and not that the number of driving tests that have been completed. These are totally different numbers. So it's kind of saying, oh yeah, by 2027, a third of all driving tests will be automatic passes. So at that 50% pass rate across the UK, about a third of them are automatic. But we already know that, based on a survey from ages ago, that the pass rate on automatic was about 33 to 38%, depending on which region you were in. So, based on the numbers alone, it would indicate that actually the automatic pass rate is creeping up slightly, and the manual pass rate is actually decreasing. You could argue that could be the case. If you were a numbers person, you'd be able to tell that out of 1.8 or 2 million tests or whatever it is, and if there's 1 million passes, that 300,000 passes are automatic. But what about the total number of tests? Surely then, if there's 2 million, we'll just round it up, 2 million driving tests and 1 million are passed, then that means that there's 1 million that haven't passed. Now, in that 1 million that haven't passed, what percentage are auto and what percentage are manual? Well, they don't really know. They can guess, but they don't actually really know. What we do know, though, is that the automatic rate is increasing and the manual rate is decreasing. Let me get that absolutely straight, because the report wasn't clear enough. The Freedom of Information request was just asking about how many passed auto and how many passed manual, and what the general pass rate was for 24 to 25, I think, or whatever it is in the report. I'll put somewhere down here. You'll get the point, because I haven't got the figures in front of me. I haven't printed anything out. I'm literally telling you what's happening. When I first started in 2019, there was only very few automatics. Some of them were electric. There wasn't very many at all. In fact, for Northumberland, when I came into the Northumberland area in 2020, then I would say in certain parts of it, I was probably one of one. I know that. And certainly in Alnwick, I'd been up to Alnwick and there was no auto instructor in Alnwick, and I know that's for a fact. Then there was somebody else, and then there wasn't somebody else. Then there was somebody from a certain company, beginning with A, that had some, and then another company that shall name remainless, starting with a P, had some, and then Signature had some, and then, but they've all disappeared or joined or left or whatever. What we genuinely know is that right now there are more automatic driving instructors. Why? Is it because people are giving up on manual? Kind of, yes, that's the answer. That people are actually giving up on manual driving at all. They're not even, and some people might argue, oh, it's a lack of control. No, you've still got the same level of control. You've still got the level of driving. In fact, on a driving test, he'll actually watch you more because you're not changing gear. So he wants you more observant, or he wants you more in control, or he wants you to do more stuff. So the reality is that, yes, more automatic passes are going through and less manual passes. But overall, the pass rate hasn't changed. So that must mean that the automatic pass rate has actually gone up and the manual pass rate may have dropped. Now, somebody had said somewhere that the pass rate way back before COVID was 70-something%. I don't think it was. I think it was about 58 or something like that. That was the pass rate. It's now about 49, but that's because people are going to driving tests, which they've got booked, and saying, I'm going to go and do my test regardless of what they feel like, regardless if they are ready, they're going to do that driving test, where that's kind of counterintuitive. That's how the waiting time is so much. Somebody argued that the instructors booking driving tests were kind of wasting space as well, because you're booking it so far in advance. I don't quite believe that. I think the booking service might be taken off the instructors soon anyway, so we'll soon see, because then it's going to get even worse. But there we go. So yeah, the report was a little bit skewed in the way of, right, how many of these are passes? When you look at the numbers, it's kind of like, it's still like, wow, so like 1 million driving tests weren't passed. Imagine if those 1 million driving tests were passed and the pass rate was 75 or better. Imagine that. Imagine how quickly the backlog would disappear. It seems to me that they've got no interest at all in clearing the backlog, because I don't think this current state of play is going to change, and therefore the pass rate might actually significantly drop. What we do know is that people going independents, going with mum and dad or wife or girlfriend or partner, that are doing it themselves and taking their candidate to the driving test centre in their car fully insured, they're kind of the people that are failing because they've never had any professional instruction. And some of them forget about mirrors, or they'll forget, and it's nobody's fault. We can't take blame. Nobody's got a fault with it. A professional instructor kind of tries to get you in the right place. I always say this: I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to make you be able to drive. At the end of that driving test, can you drive up to Alnwick? Can you drive up to the Metro Centre? Can you go through the Tyne Tunnel without anybody sat there? So at the end of that driving period, do you have the physical ability, when you pass that driving test, to be able to go somewhere without any help? Do you have the ability to drive? And that's what I teach. I teach the ability to drive, not how to pass a driving test, because the ability to drive is how you pass a driving test. Take people all over. There's a long sort of thing, this, with a fight between the DVSA, the instructors, and the pupils. I don't know how it will be resolved. All we do know is, though, the DVSA do have a plan, which they keep saying they do have a plan, for when inevitable happens, when you can only do auto. There might have to be a specialist manual driving test that they have to train their people on, because a lot of the people eventually will only have automatic licenses. For an examiner, you have to have a full manual license. You don't for being an instructor. That's an important point. An examiner would have to be, because if you've only passed auto and they start refusing people, oh, you've only got an automatic license. In a few years, it won't matter whether you've got manual or auto. Auto people won't be able to drive manuals, and manuals will be able to drive autos, but you'll have to do a specialist driving test for the manuals, because there'll be no manuals left around about 2050, I reckon. So the DVSA have that plan. I'll be well gone and retired by that point. We're into the future. We're into sort of way into the future. I think younger people are deciding to drive auto because they've got no interest in doing manual, or they've got no interest in driving old cars that are obsolete now. They want to drive nice new shiny battery cars, and I get it, and that's why I've always done automatic. I've always understood that. Anyway, enough of a rant. You see the figures on the screen. You make up your own mind what you think about auto and manual. It's the same. You're only changing gears, okay? You've still got the same level of control. You still have to do mirror, signal, position, speed, and look. You still have to do all of those things. You get a little bit confused when you come up to a traffic light and the car keeps moving if you press the brakes and you haven't pressed the brake enough. Little things like that. But anybody who's got any problems with it, I'll make another video. I think I did an auto video quite a long time ago, and quite a lot of people have watched that. I could redo the auto video, the switching from manual or automatic. I could redo that. Anyway, if you like what you saw, like, comment, subscribe. A bit quick today. A bit warm, about 25 degrees, and it's middle of September, and it wasn't supposed to be. It's supposed to be horrible. Anyway, I digress. Enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. you've still got to do. In fact, on a driving test, hello everybody, my name's Ryan and I'm a driving instructor, and today, right, there we go, are we in the corner now? No. The life of a YouTuber. Hello everybody, my name's Ryan and I'm a